Hello. Today we are going to be talking about athletic governing bodies, and this is Chapter 2 in our textbook. The governance of intercollegiate athletics in the United States is based on 3 levels of control: institutional, conference, and national. Although colleges and universities function independently, sports competition is a cooperative venture. In other words, you can't compete unless you have competitors to compete against, and therefore you need to have rules that you all agree to follow. Historically, schools have formed alliances with similar schools, which takes the form of an athletics conference. For example, Regis is currently a member of the NECC. Prior to 2012, Regis competed in the CCC, which is the Commonwealth Coast Conference. In the past, generally speaking, conference members shared similar features, such as geographic proximity, the fact that a school is either public or private, the academic focus of the school, if it's liberal arts or if it's vocational or if it's technical, or perhaps it could be a religious focus, the academic standards, and the number and type of intercollegiate sports offered. Conferences allow schools to develop rules and regulations. They ease burdens such as scheduling and assigning officials, and they help to create a level playing field. When I started working at Regis in 2010, we were still part of the Commonwealth Coast Conference, but it was not a good competitive fit for the majority of our teams. Essentially, we were getting crushed across the board, which is why we switched conferences and moved to the NECC, where we can pretty much compete and crush small schools like Regis, and therefore it feels like a more level playing field and a better fit for most of our sports. The largest intercollegiate athletics conference in the country is the ECAC, the Eastern College Athletic Conference, which operates as a regional governing body with postseason championships offered in Divisions 1, 2, and 3. Governing bodies exist to provide postseason championship opportunities, establish rules and regulations for each sport, and promote and supervise competition. The first national athletic organization was the NCAA. It was founded in 1906, and it began sponsoring national championships in 1921. It has grown to be the largest national intercollegiate athletics governing body, with more than 1,000 member institutions providing opportunities for more than 400,000 student athletes competing in 23 sports. However, even though most of the focus is on the NCAA, there are actually 4 other national institutions providing options for schools seeking postseason national championships. The first is the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, the NAIA, which is currently home to 300 colleges and has 60,000 student athletes. It sponsors 13 different sports. A local example of an NAIA school is Fisher College, based in Boston. The National Junior College Athletic Association was established in 1938 to promote competition between institutions granting 2-year or associate's degrees. Currently, this association has nearly 300 members, and it sponsors 17 sports. 2 local examples of junior colleges are the Benjamin Franklin Institute of Technology, located in Boston, and Mass Bay Community College, based in Wellesley. The National Christian College Athletic Association was incorporated in 1968. It currently includes about 100 member schools, and it emphasizes the mission of promoting Christian outreach and ministry through sponsoring 23 different sports. There are actually no NCCAA schools located in New England, but one of the closest is Lancaster Bible College, based in Pennsylvania. The newest national governing body is the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. It was established in 2009 to provide national competitive experiences for small enrollment schools and non-traditional programs. A local example is New Hampshire Technical Institute, NHTI. The athletic director bears ultimate responsibility for everything that goes on in the athletics program. As the leader of the athletics department, the AD establishes the program's internal compliance culture and also serves as the face of the program for all other institutional and external constituencies. An athletic director's job description can vary widely depending on the type of institution. Regardless of school type or size, ADs usually hold approval authority over all athletics department policies and procedures. In addition, they represent the institution at the conference and national levels. At smaller schools, like at the Division III level, athletic directors have specific duties such as budgeting, marketing, fundraising, in addition to general supervisory responsibilities. However, at larger schools, typically like Division I, the AD assumes a general supervisory role. Over the past 20 years, the typical compliance unit in an athletic department has grown both in staff size as well as importance. The size and sophistication of the compliance staff depends on priorities and resources. For example, at Regis, the former athletic director, Mary Beth Lamb, used to be in charge of eligibility and compliance. However, in 2012, Regis added a new position, which is known as the Assistant Athletic Director for Student Athlete Welfare. And eligibility and compliance moved from the athletic director's responsibility into this new person's responsibility. However, in comparison, at the University of Texas, there are 10 full-time staff members in the compliance department. Basically, the compliance staff's primary responsibility at any NCAA institution is to educate all members of the athletics program, from students to coaches to alumni, about the rules. In addition to increasing awareness of the rules and identifying areas of risk, the compliance staff works with coaches to provide forms and tools to monitor, assist, and supervise rules compliance. In general, when violations or other programs occur, the compliance staff investigates to determine what happened and whether it could have been avoided. The staff then reports the violation, self-imposes a penalty, and works to prevent a recurrence. On the slide, I included a graphic from Ohio State showing a summary of their self-reported violations by sport. A specific example of a common violation would be if a coach has an impermissible in-person, off-campus contact with a prospect before the completion of the prospect's junior year in high school. This would be a violation of bylaw 13.1.1.1, recruiting contacts. So the compliance staff would self-report the violation to the NCAA. Most bylaw 13 recruiting violations result in a 2-for-1 penalty. So a possible penalty could include restricting the coach's recruiting activities, for example, phone calls, correspondence, in-person contact with that prospect, for a period of 2 weeks for each impermissible contact, hence the 2-for-1 penalty. Authority over the administration of athletics at the institutional level is continually challenged by both internal and external forces. Internally, faculty members have varying degrees of influence depending on the institution. For example, at Regis, most teams have a faculty advisor who serves as a resource for the head coach on matters pertaining to academics and advising. Nationally, the Drake Group and the Coalition on Intercollegiate Athletics are examples of faculty groups that called for intercollegiate athletics reform. Faculty also play a formal role in athletics governance at all NCAA member institutions through the role of the Faculty Athletics Representative, known as the FAR. Article 6.1.3 of the NCAA Constitution describes the FAR as a faculty member who does not hold a position in the athletic department. The FAR formally represents the view of the faculty in advising the institution's president on athletics-related issues. The FAR also plays a key communication role on campus by informing the faculty about athletics issues, policies, and procedures. At Regis, the faculty athletic representative is Leslie Bishop. Dr. Bishop attends athletic department meetings, and also she keeps the faculty updated on athletic department news. Internal pressures can also arise from university governing boards, such as the Board of Regents at a place like the University of Texas, or the Board of Trustees at a school like Regis. Although they are not part of the official governing structure of intercollegiate athletics, these boards can still wield a great deal of power. Since the board is in charge of making financial decisions for the college or university, they exert a great deal of influence in the management of intercollegiate athletics or any department on campus. For example, when Regis College was planning to build the outdoor athletic facilities such as the track and the turf field and the softball diamond, the proposal and the necessary funding had to first be approved by the Board of Trustees. External stakeholders range in power and organization, but they are still a constant presence among the forces that create intercollegiate athletics governance. These stakeholders include fans and alums, the media, the entertainment industry, for example, broadcasters, the sport apparel industry, and the government. Most NCAA conferences have a commissioner. For example, the NECC has a full-time commissioner named Del Malloy and a part-time assistant commissioner who is in charge of the website and sports information for the conference. At the Division I level, conferences often have a commissioner and a large staff of administrators to help provide a wide range of services and help generate additional revenues for the conference members. Conferences actively promote themselves and their championships through marketing, PR, media relations, and athletics communication. Conference games and broadcasts and championships are broadcast through a variety of platforms, including web streaming, TV, or radio. Some conferences, such as the Big Ten and the SEC, actually have their own TV networks. Conference governance is usually determined through member representation, and then the commissioner and staff are in place to execute the wishes of the membership. However, as the public's face of the conference, the commissioner generally has a fair amount of power. He or she has a strong voice in discussions about conference policy and may represent the conference members in NCAA governance matters. The core purpose of the NCAA is to govern competition in a fair, safe, equitable, and sportsmanlike manner, and to integrate athletics into higher education so that the educational experience of the student athlete is paramount, meaning that academics are more important than anything else. Whether or not this purpose is the current reality, at least at some D1 schools, is definitely debatable. The operations of the NCAA are managed at the national office, which is located in Indianapolis. The highest ranking employee of the national office is the NCAA president. The current NCAA president is Mark Emert, who has held the office since 2010. The NCAA president is advised by a senior management group that includes a chief policy advisor, a general counsel, a chief operations officer, and vice presidents of communication, membership, championships, and student athlete affairs. Incredibly, the NCAA is almost completely financed by the TV and rights fees generated by the Division I Men's Basketball Championship. The NCAA and CBS Turner Sports have a 14-year, $10.8 billion agreement. The fees from this deal generates approximately 81 to 87% of the NCAA's $900 million annual budget. Most of the remaining revenue, approximately 11%, comes from ticket sales at all other NCAA championship events. The income generated by the NCAA directly benefits its members, either through the services that the NCAA provides its members or through the distribution of revenues. The majority of NCAA revenue is made by and then distributed to Division I conferences based on school as well as conference performance in the Division I men's basketball tournament. Each tournament game that a team plays in earns a share, and that share is worth $250,000. The payouts are distributed over 6 years to each conference based on its member school appearances. For example, in 2014, a team that made it to the NCAA tournament but lost in the first round earned one share for its conference to be paid annually over 6 years. This means the first round appearance would make roughly $250,000 or slightly more for its conference each year, which would total more than $1.5 million over 6 years. If an NCAA Division I men's basketball team made it to the Elite Eight, and that would mean that they won 3 games in the NCAA basketball tournament, it would earn 4 shares for its conference that year. For this reason, it is in the best financial interest of each conference to send as many conference members as possible to the tournament and keep them in the tournament as long as possible. While it's tempting for fans to celebrate losses by conference rivals, those losses translate into millions of dollars of lost revenue sharing for all conference schools. Therefore, from a financial standpoint, it makes sense for administrators to cheer fiercely for all conference schools in order to maximize their budgets.